I want there to now be eliminations. I don't care that it's not that kind of show. I don't care that there's no money for them to lose. I want there to be eliminations. And I want JP and Taylor to be eliminated. So if you haven't watched Love is Blind before, the whole premise of the show is strangers date each other without being able to see each other. They talk in two pods where they don't know what each other looks like. They really only have to go by voice. Is love blind? No. We get the answer to this question every season. There's basically like 3 tropes, I feel, for Love is Blind. There's a couple that, we like Lauren and Cameron, or Brett and Tiffany, where it's like, oh my gosh, we love them. Like, we knew they were going to be great together. Then there's a couple where they were great in the pods. Like, they enjoyed talking to each other. They thought they were going to get married. And then once they do get married, when they actually meet each other in person, one person thinks the other person is ugly, but then they don't want to seem superficial and let the other person know, I think you're ugly. And that's my favorite type of couple, by the way. I love watching them make all of these excuses that they didn't bring up in the pods, but now that they see them, they're like, are you gonna be fine if I work? Are you gonna be fine if I have a job? What do you think about? What if I have to take off to Colombia for 8 months? Is that gonna be fine? Do you mind if I have a dog? What if you have a dog allergy you didn't know you had? Is that gonna be fine? And then there's always some type of love triangle where there's one person talking to 2 different people, but then that one person will either break it off with someone who they're talking to for this other person. There's just always gonna be one that's very messy. So we start off episode 1 meeting Chris, and he says this one line where he's like, everybody sees me and they think I'm a playboy. And I said, now, maybe a science teacher, when I think of someone on a reality show where I'm I know they're a playboy, I think of some people I've seen on Too Hot to Handle. Louis from season 5 of Too Hot to Handle, a lot of people said, anyone can see that you are toxic and a red flag walking. Well, I want you to know something. I'm not just anyone. And I don't have to see. Actually, without my glasses, I can't see at all. So, and then we meet Lydia. She just kind of seemed like she was just drunk in the pods. But we've already seen people that seem drunk in the pods all the time. So that wasn't alarming to me. So then we meet Milton, who's 24. I think he's a bio engineer. I don't know. I was distracted because of his hair. There's something off, and I just can't, I can't tell him how to fix it, but it's something is wrong there. And it was very distracting to me pretty much the entire 4 episodes. If I was to see a picture of Milton and someone said, what do you think this man's name is? I'm gonna say that he was pretty accurately named. That's what I'm gonna say. And I also feel like he should be mad about that too. When you're born and both of your parents have equally decided to name you Milton, that's just offensive. I would be offended by that, because I feel like when you sign the birth certificate and say okay, Milton, this is my son, it's almost like they hand you the Skechers and the roller backpack. And of course he ends up matching his name. He's very nerdy. He ends up bonding with Lydia over the fact that they like rocks and stuff like that, because Lydia's a geologist. So they start talking about sedimentary rock. And let me just say this, I like science. So straight off the bat, I was already okay, if I was behind the wall, I already feel like I would like Milton. He would probably be my pick, because I don't mind a nerdy man. I don't. As long as it's a type of nerdy where it's cute, adorable, maybe they're a little inexperienced, as opposed to the kind of nerdy STEM guy who thinks that women are inferior and you're not as smart because you're not a man. That's the thing about smart guys. It can go either way. Then we get introduced to Izzy, and straight off the bat, I just knew that he was gonna be drama. I feel so strongly in my heart that he is a nightmare. The first second he came on screen and started kind of talking, he gave me such a different, I don't know, he gave me a vibe, and I just feel like he is going to be very toxic. I feel like he is going to be there's just something about him that just came off the bat very disingenuine. He seems like he punches walls. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, I have not been wrong when I've had a prediction about a man on Love is Blind being toxic. I was not wrong about Baptiste. Bartiste. Speaking of getting a read on someone you just feel like you're not gonna like in this show, Stacy. When she said the line, "My hips don't lie," during one of her dates, I think she was talking to Izzy, that just really, because I paused the show and I said, when have I ever said the phrase, "my hips don't lie," and I wasn't talking about the song in just a normal conversation, and I couldn't pinpoint that time. I felt it. I just felt like she was going to be annoying.
Anything in a can Carter. Cheap beer Carter. He is a country bumpkin, but I just feel like B545.
So then they start to introduce Johnny, and it's so funny that she's a lawyer because the first thing that I thought of was Judge Judy's niece. Why do I know Judge Judy has a niece? Why do I know what Judge Judy's niece looks like? Beats me. Right off the bat, I'm like, I love Johnny's style. She has been the most consistent like look queen on Love is Blind, I think, in all of the seasons. Like every single outfit I've liked. If I'm gonna talk about who has the best style on this season so far, I guess I have to talk about who has the worst style. And you know who I'm going to say. I want there to now be eliminations. I don't care that it's not that kind of show. I don't care that there's no money for them to lose. I want there to be eliminations. And I want JP and Taylor to be eliminated. JP has multiple items of clothing that include the American flag. Taylor has the nerve to come on the premiere of Love is Blind and say the line, "Grilled cheese is my favorite food." And I said, you know what? You're not going to tell me that you've been eating food for 26 years and the best one you came across is 2 pieces of bread and some American cheese in the middle. Because I know it's American cheese. I know it's American cheese. It's not cheddar. It's not provolone. It's not even pepper jack. Let me text a number from home to get somebody eliminated. So the last main characters, Uche and Aaliyah. I got a great vibe on Aaliyah. You know, she just gives off like she could be a friend, you know, maybe someone that you went to college with. Like she just kind of gives off a very normal vibe. I didn't get anything from the premiere that would seem any type of jarring. Uche, on the other hand, I was torn at this point because dare I say, okay, don't click off the video. He was giving Brett energy to me at first. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, he seems so nice. He seems kind of wholesome. He's a little, like, mild-mannered. You know what I mean? He has veins popping out of his arms for no reason. And I'm like, how do you zoom in on the TV? It's been a long fall. He mentioned to Aaliyah that he does poetry. Aaliyah does poetry. Aaliyah is very creative. She likes to play the guitar. He plays guitar. Like, it seemed like they were going to have a great connection right off the bat. And they could be the couple this season that, you know, everybody likes. They last and they get together and everything is perfect like we've seen before. I really thought that they were going to fill that slot. So there's a point in the episode where Taylor and JP are talking. And at this point, you have heard some phrases. You've heard a lot of things from Taylor and JP. Sugar baby. What do they call each other? Sugar bear. There's a point where Taylor is like, oh, she like bends over and she's like, oh, I'm a twerk.
Just twerk my butt over here.
Damn.
Like, if there was any time for my Wi-Fi to go down, like, please. As the first episode goes on, Lydia really likes Izzy a lot more than Izzy likes her. So then when Izzy tells her, like, it's just really not working out, I have a stronger connection with other people in the house, Lydia does not take it well. The way that Lydia breaks down, like, it's, in my mind, I feel like it's been like 48 hours at this point. Just hysterical. No one's gonna love me. No one's gonna love me. Here's my thing. I stand by my prediction of Izzy being someone you don't want to be loved by. I'm just saying. That's number 1. Okay, you dodged a bullet. 2, has it not been 2 days? If you really like Izzy and you feel like he's your number 1, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then for him to be your number 1 and pretty much her only at this point, that means that the other 10, 20 guys you don't like. So why is it so weird that he doesn't see you as his number one when there's 20 guys you don't see as your number one? Aaliyah and Uche are really hitting it off. Everything seems perfect. She's telling the girls that he's going to be the one. He feels like she's the one. And then ending the premiere, Aaliyah tells Uche a deep, dark confession that she has cheated. The way that Uche responds, the way that Uche read her for filth, like, I just couldn't.
When was this?
2 years ago.
Oh boy, you're a recent cheater.
Not like that, Uche. Don't say that.
She was literally like, oh, he was like, why didn't you tell him? Like, have you told him yet? Why didn't you tell him? She says no. And then she was like, I didn't tell him because I felt like, what is it gonna do? What good is it gonna do to tell him when he's starting a new job? I said, but you did it. So whenever you do something, you owe it to tell somebody, unless you're going to leave them. I really feel like there's no reason to continue dating someone and then you didn't tell them what you've done, because it kind of takes away the power of choice for that other person. Maybe if you tell them, hey, like, I've cheated, I've stepped out, maybe they'll take you back, maybe they won't break up, maybe they want to work on it. But to me, it is very selfish to not even let the other person know. And then she says that they dated for 3 months after. And I feel like Uche's first reaction of being turned off and feeling like, okay, maybe this is a red flag, was correct. I personally got double standard vibes, because I just felt like if she was dating in the pods and one of the guys said, I have cheated 2 years ago, I never told the person I cheated, they're probably going to find out when the show airs, like all of us are finding out. I think that would have been a red flag, and I think that she would have left. Personally, I don't think she would have kept talking to that person anymore. So I did kind of think it was like, girl, don't play the victim. If you had told your man that you did that, then that's fine. Everybody has a past. Everybody makes mistakes. But like, for you to say like he doesn't even know to this day, 2 years have passed, he's watching Love is Blind, like, oh, let me see what Aaliyah's up to.
What do you mean breathe? Don't tell me to breathe. I can't be. Yo, bring me a shot. Bring me a shot.
Aaliyah feels all bad. She's crying. So Aaliyah goes and gets comfort by Lydia. Lydia's like, hey, like, he doesn't get to judge you for your past. He doesn't get to make these, judgments on your character. He's not perfect. He needs to take accountability for his actions. He needs to, and I said, this is getting oddly specific. Like, I was here with like, he doesn't get to judge you, even though, is that not what dating is? But Lydia's like, oh, he has trauma. He needs to take accountability for all of his traumas. He needs to heal himself. And I said, this is getting off course. So that was kind of weird. I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to keep an eye on Lydia because she's kind of showing some interesting flags. They're not quite red yet, but they're definitely coral. I would say they're like a salmon, coral, maybe like a brick color. You know what I mean? They're close to being just bright flaming red, but like, I'm going to reserve my opinions. I'm not going to let what I've heard or seen affect me. So episode 2, Lydia and Milton start getting a little bit closer. They kind of start forming a connection. Again, they bonded in episode 1 over the deepness of sedimentary rock. They bonded over their love for stones and geology. So of course they're going to have a promising foundation and be together forever, I think. So after being turned down by Izzy, Lydia again is in a very chaotic state. And she tells Milton, I need to vent to you because nobody loves me. How can anybody love me? And I said, Lydia, somebody's gonna love you, okay? That's number one. Like, I have been at that rock bottom, but Izzy shouldn't be taking you there. Like, there was really nothing you guys talked about. Izzy just reminds me of someone who just like mirrors very well. So it's like you're talking to them, but you're not really talking to them. You're not really getting anything. It's kind of like, oh, like he's just not really saying anything. So that's why I'm like, what is she even so down bad about Izzy for? Like, what did he even do? What did he give you that you feel this like hurt about it? But anyways, Milton's on the other side. But I just feel like they make no sense. Like, I don't care that you guys are in the same kind of field in being in STEM. I just feel like there's just nothing that is gonna, I can't see them building anything. Milton is definitely a better pick than Izzy because, again, I stand by what I said episode 1. Izzy is not real. The first time I clocked that I'm not gonna like Izzy, Lydia said like, oh, like, I'm a geologist, whatever. And like, Izzy was like, wow. And I said, hold on, wait a minute. Why are you shocked? Like, you don't know anything about the person at all. You don't know anything. So like, what is shocking about it? And to me, it gave off like, because she has a strong accent, I don't know, I felt like he kind of judged her and felt like she would be not smart. If you've never met someone in your entire life and they tell you, hey, I'm a geologist, I feel like you're like, oh, cool, rocks, like, that's what's up. He was like, wow, like, you know, you're in STEM? Like, I don't know. It gave very, why Lydia's down bad for someone who clearly doesn't even think that you're intelligent for whatever reason. Sidebar for episode 2. If we can just talk about this beach theme, I just feel like if they're gonna do these themes, and they've done this in previous seasons before, but I feel like they're really leaning into themes this season with like, you know, like the room being decorated like a spa, the room being decorated like beach themed or something. I just feel like if you're gonna do a beach theme, okay, fine. Floats with no water, okay. Beach chair instead of a couch, okay. Milton already told you he has scoliosis, but all right. But then there's no like margarita. Like you're like, you gave me an ice chest with what looked like some type of cognac. I said, what beach are you guys on? I want a margarita with sugar and salt on the rim. Okay, I want something that's like refreshing. Like, I want something with hibiscus. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like if we're gonna do the beach theme, let's lean into it. As the episode goes on, I get this stronger feeling that I would pick Milton if I was behind the wall. I feel like me and Milton just really have a lot in common. He didn't mention it, but I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say he was bullied. I also was, okay? I think we both own a pair of Hokas. I think that we both are into science, and we clearly both have scoliosis because he revealed to Lydia that he had to do a whole back surgery. Mine is not nearly as severe, but you know, anytime anyone gives me a back massage, I said, surprise. Lydia's not wrong for being attracted to Milton. I just personally don't think they're compatible. Taylor and JP get closer in this episode. They're, you know, talking about the L word. They love each other. It's just becoming very clear, like, they're probably gonna be our first couple, like the first proposal. And like Taylor's little talking head, she's like, I don't know what this man looks like. I know nothing about him, but I just feel like love is blind. And I said, girl, you don't know what this man looks like. If somebody tells me, hey, like, I have multiple items of clothing that have the American flag on it, let's start deducing every POC that you've ever met. There's only one group in this country that is so proud to be an American that they have something to cheer about, and it's white males. So don't you sit there, Taylor, and be like, I just have no idea what he looks like. Like, he could be anybody. I don't know what race he is. It's like Taylor and JP definitely have a love story, probably the most genuine at this point, but their love story is something that only Nicholas Sparks could conjure up. So Uche ends up apologizing to Aaliyah for reacting so strongly to her. He says like, oh, I have trust issues. Like, I feel like, you know, bad for judging you. Da, 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 da. I just don't really feel like he was wrong to judge her, because that's literally what dating is. And also, we must not forget that there is a man sitting at home hearing that he got cheated on like an extremely popular show. He had no idea. Like, they broke up for some other reason. She never told him. So like, how Like, is Uche really that bad of a guy at this point? Like, for not liking what she said? I feel like it is a red flag if you hear that. Stacy, Johnny, Chris, Izzy, they all, it's getting messy. Izzy likes Stacy, Izzy likes Johnny, Johnny likes Izzy, Johnny, she's telling Chris that she likes him. But every single time that Johnny's with Izzy, she seems so excited. She seems like she's having such a good time. And she even tells Izzy that Chris is like a friend. So she totally friend zones him at this point. On the other side of things, Chris is over here telling the guys like, oh, like, I just like her so much. Like, you can just tell Chris is really genuine and really likes her. Johnny kind of led on that she kind of has been with toxic men before. And I just feel like this is like an opportunity to like go against what your normal pattern is. And it's like, again, Izzy seems toxic to me. So why would you choose Izzy over Chris? Like, why would you like do that to yourself? So the fact that Izzy is between two women, plural, like him, that just is just so bizarre to me. Like, no one likes Chris, but two women like Izzy. What is wrong with this planet? Stacy's like head over heels for Izzy at this point as well. And I'm just like, am I just like not seeing it? Like, maybe like, are you guys like sleep deprived? Like, have you guys like had some sleep, have some food? Have you guys like eaten anything? Because I just can't understand why Johnny and Stacy are like you have all of these guys to talk to and Izzy's your number one. And even Lydia liking him so much. What am I missing? So we finally have our first proposal in this episode. JP proposes to Taylor like we all saw coming. Johnny ends up telling Chris that she has a stronger connection in the house. She pretty much ends it with Chris to get with Izzy. Huge mistake. And even in getting dumped, Chris handles it so well. Like, he really takes it in stride. And I just was like, I want to cry. Like, Chris needs a hug. There's no reason to even end it with Chris because Izzy hasn't even really given you that 100% commitment because you already know that he likes another girl in the house. So it's just like, why would you even break it off with someone before he breaks it off? Then once Johnny breaks it off with Chris, she goes back to talking to Izzy, her number one. They end up having a very deep conversation where Izzy starts talking about the fact that he didn't know his real dad. Johnny starts talking about the fact that she dated someone with substance abuse issues. Let's just have a sidebar. Just me and Johnny. Everybody else leave, okay? Just me and Johnny, let's have a sidebar. When a man tells you, I don't want anyone to give up on me, I'm scared of people giving up on me, that is a red flag if I've ever seen one. I know it comes off like, oh, like no one wants to be left, you know, get the rug pulled out from under them. This is true, but I feel like when a straight cis man says those words, he's telling you something about himself. There's something about saying, oh, I don't want people to give up on me that just screams like, I don't take accountability. I don't take accountability for how my relationships have ended in the past. I had no fault. They just left. They weren't strong enough. They wanted to leave. I feel like we hear this a lot when men talk about how, oh, women are divorcing like crazy nowadays. When it was back in the day and women had no rights, they were keeping strong. Now that they wanted to go ahead and have some self-respect, now they're just giving up on relationships. Everything's so easy. Johnny ends up revealing to Izzy that she not only dated a man who has substance abuse problem, but also he passed away from substance abuse after they broke up, and how that was the only man she's really ever loved, and how she was healing from that and going through such a dark time. And you know, Izzy takes that like only Izzy could. He's turned off, first of all. He's like shuts down. He takes it like a personal shot, like to me, a shot to his ego, where it's like, oh, like that's the only man you ever loved. I don't know, I've only met you 36 hours ago. So yeah, that's the man that I love. And also he passed away. So he's literally like, I feel like you should have told me sooner. When should I have told you that my ex passed away from substance abuse and he's the only person that I've ever loved and I'm so hurt? Should I have told you that on day one? You should take it, absorb it, and be like, okay, I'm so sorry for your loss. He never even said that much. And I said, I told y'all he was gonna be a trip. My predictions are not wrong. Okay, that was my breakdown for episode 1 and 2 of Love is Blind season 5. Bye!